Hey guys, this is Alex from Low Key Millionaire here, and nobody is safe in this economy. Job losses are piling up, layoffs are being announced, and it's kind of like a double whammy at this time because people are losing their jobs at the same time that hyperinflation is going through the roof. So, as the cost of things are skyrocketing, people are losing that steady figure, that money coming in every 2 weeks. And the combination of those two things is a scary, scary feeling. Let's go over the stats that paint somewhat of a picture. So, Amazon has announced that they've laid off 14,000 people. UPS has announced that they've laid off 48,000 people, with more to come. Target, GM, Verizon has announced that they've laid off 13,000 people. It's just shocking, these are only the big companies that we're talking about, is not painting the whole picture of all these small businesses, side gigs, contract work, stuff like this. Why do all these companies announce layoffs? Well, it's because Wall Street rewards them to. Every time that they announce layoffs, their stock price goes up. The day that UPS announced their 48,000 people were laid off, their stock jumped 13%. I guess in a way it's good for shareholders of that company, but it's kind of a ironic situation that you have to screw over your own employees in order to beef up your quarterly profits in order to, increase your stock prices. The CEO of Amazon, for example, Andy Jassy, I believe his name is, his compensation is $40 million a year. And his compensation is very directly tied to the performance of Amazon stock. Guess what happens when Amazon announces all these layoffs? Their stock price goes up. And as a consequence, the CEO, along with all the other C-suite executives, end up making more money. It's kind of a twisted thing, but it's these companies, they've got you where they want you. They've got you in a scared position where now you're too afraid. You're tightening up. When you're at risk of losing everything, you're willing to accept anything. That's when they'll come in with the lowball offers and rehire you for a lower wage. Is this what we really want in our society, where people are getting exploited, people are getting steamrolled by capitalism essentially? At this point, it's like, what's going on? In this past year alone, 2025, the job loss, it's been reported about 1 million jobs were lost thus far this year. And only 4 other times in the past 32 years has that ever happened. Can you guess when? Well, let me tell you. 2000, the year 2000. Why did that happen? It was because of the dot-com crash, where everything collapsed. The fancy new dot-com companies tanked overnight and disappeared. NASDAQ dropped about 80% from the years 2000 to 2003. Then the next time that the layoffs were that much was 2008 to 2009, which was the Great Recession. We all remember that one. That was when foreclosures were happening left and right. The stock market was collapsing. Institutions needed to be bailed out. All these things. And the final year that over 1 million job losses were reported was, of course, the year 2020, the year the pandemic happened, as well as this year, 2025. 1 million jobs were lost this year. Something is going on. There is a lot more to this story than you think. It's not just you. Things are tightening up. Businesses are starting to realize that their payroll can no longer be supported by their revenues. And so guess what happens? In order to stay afloat, they need to cut payroll. They need to lay people off in order to survive. And at this point, of course, everybody's heard about the AI revolution coming up, right? I personally don't think that AI is there right now, but it's no longer an abstract threat. AI is here to stay, and it's only increasing. It's only a matter of time before AI eventually starts taking people's jobs. It hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen. I feel it. I sense it. The first jobs that AI would overtake, in my opinion, would be the simple office tasks the administrative tasks, those kind of roles where it was traditionally an entry level job that a young person could get and eventually, dip their toe, get their foot in the door to some company, and hopefully one day work their way up. But nowadays, with the advent of AI is so crazy. It's getting stronger day by day, week by week. I've tested things myself, with ChatGPT, Gemini, things like this, and it is incredible. It is shocking how good it is. It is only a matter of time, within a year, 5 years, something like this, where new things will be rolling out. And yeah, I am concerned about those entry level positions. Those will be the first to go. AI will just gobble those things up, and I don't see how people can get a leg up in society at that point. People have talked about providing universal basic income, basically providing a set amount for every citizen every month, because of this, because of such expected massive job losses due to AI. But then the question becomes, who pays for all this universal basic income? Where does that money come from? That's another topic for another day. But for now, job losses are here to stay, and they don't seem to be decreasing. In fact, they seem to be increasing. People are losing their jobs. And the crazy thing is that ageism is a real thing as well. So one thing is the young people are scared because the AI can potentially take those entry level jobs, which they traditionally used as a first job to get their foot in the door. So that is the threat for young people. But on the other end of the spectrum, there's the threat of ageism for the older folks who need to find work. Ageism is a real thing. I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but many companies will not hire people over the age of 40, for example, or over the age of 50. They just won't. And it's quite sad. When you're an older person and you need work, you need money, what can you do? There's no easy answer. And it just goes to show you, you guys, you must start taking charge of your own finances, your own personal finances. I keep saying this and I'll say it again. You just gotta dial things back. You gotta live well below your means. You have to pull back on your expenses because your future is at stake. You don't wanna be in a position where you need the money, but there's no way to get it. That is not a good situation to be in. You want to put yourself in a situation where you can actually win, you can actually succeed. And all these job losses are happening simultaneously as hyperinflation is going on. At this point, I don't personally believe what the government is telling us about the numbers for inflation. And you know what they always do? They always put out a number and then couple weeks, months later, they always secretly revise it. And it's like, we understand and we know just by living through life that inflation is through the roof. Things have increased by 50 to 70%, it feels like to me, in just the past 5 years. And we also know about shrinkflation too, right? Where things are coming in smaller cans and smaller jars. And while the company and the CEOs brag that they're passing on these costs to the consumer in their earnings calls, that's how they get you. That's another way, shrinkflation. Things are just melding and mixing together where the end result is that it's a double whammy. People are losing their jobs at the same time as costs are exploding. So this is a very difficult situation for many folks to be in. And you know what's really scary? AI is so strong now that I've read that Uber has used AI to kind of figure out which drivers are the most financially desperate and pay them lower as a result of that. This is AI, and this is Uber using AI to figure things out like this. They're using things like how fast a person responds to their emails to figure out how desperate they are. It's kind of a sickening realization to see that these companies are using AI to kind of exploit workers and their contractors as much as humanly possible. You have to, in this age, I'm telling you, you must protect your own money. You have to protect your own finances. Do not buy new things, you guys. Do not overspend. Do not over leverage. Don't go out this Christmas season and go buy, for example, a new car. Please don't do that. If you need a car, buy a used one in order to save money and avoid the hit of depreciation. That's just one tip. I mean, like, I could go on, but the main takeaway is to save money. You have to live below your means so that you can survive this next recession that will come. You know, I understand the need for all companies to make money. That's why these companies exist. That's why people start businesses, right? To make money. But ultimately, if one way of making money is by squeezing out your employees and just basically hiring them to build the infrastructure and just killing them off when the infrastructure is completed, what is the end goal here? Like, what are we trying to do? Like, how does capitalism work when everybody is broke? Like, how does Amazon work when nobody can afford to buy anything anymore? I don't see, unless somebody can explain this to me, but I don't see what the end game is here. Yeah, I understand the ever-present need for seeking profits and increasing margins, things like this. It comes to a point where, what is the point? If it comes at the cost of such human capital, what is the point? I don't know. Somebody help me explain that. Like, what is the end goal of all this? When we're all broke, who are the consumers now? What happens to capitalism? Anyways, guys, hopefully you had a good Thanksgiving, a good holiday break, and hopefully you found something to be grateful for, something to be appreciative of. I know we all know that these are hard times. A lot of people this holiday season are looking for seasonal work, seasonal gigs, and even that is hard to get. You know, I've read stories of people applying and like interviewing and nothing, no calls back, just crickets. And I understand the need for two jobs. It makes sense, right? Like, you obviously get more money and you get more security as well, because if one of your jobs goes under, you still have that second job to kind of hold you over. In this time and age, we definitely need that. You know, I read a report where the one sector that is increasing their job opening is the restaurant and hospitality industry. Let me explain why that's a kind of a double-edged sword. Yes, of course, it's a good thing that there's more jobs out there, but usually for restaurant and hospitality work, those are menial, low-paying jobs that people get kind of as a last resort. And so when those types of jobs goes up, a lot of people think that that's a sign that people are just struggling to hold on. People are struggling because bills are racking up and they need just a second job to hold them over. Most jobs in the restaurant and hospitality industry are jobs of last resort, where you can't find anything else and you just have to settle for being a host or being a waitress or being a waiter. A lot of that, people see that sign that those kind of jobs are ticking up as a kind of like a canary in the coal mine, where it's a sign of bad times ahead. People are just literally struggling to hold on just to make it through to the next season. You know, the payroll company ADP just this week has announced that 13,500 jobs have been lost, and that's just for this week. Obviously, that's just a small slice of the economy. ADP doesn't run everybody's payroll, but it's just a sign of things to come. I wanted to get this video out to basically say what I've always said. Live below your means. Do not splurge, especially in today's economy. Pull back, dial back, just control yourself. Don't get into debt and stay frugal, stay humble, stay low key. All right, you guys, this is Alex from Low Key Millionaire. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.